Warning, the following podcast has major F-bombs dropped throughout. If that's a problem, maybe skip this one. But if you like counting F-bombs, we have the contest for you. We're giving away a complete skateboard, the Keith Meek OG Slasher reissue from Santa Cruz, Indie Trucks, OJ wheels, Bronson bearings, the whole kit, mob grip, a complete skateboard. We're giving it away to the first person that can count all the F-bombs that Keith Meek drops throughout the entire episode. Email them to talkinschmit@gmail.com. First person with the number wins.
Winner.com. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I don't think so. Winner, winner, sheen dinner.
This one's for Stone. What's up, everybody? It's Schmitty with another episode of Talkin Schmit. Today on the program, we have the one and only Keith Meek, triple OG from Saratoga, I believe. It's going to be good. Listen up. Might even be 3 hours. Who knows how long we're going to talk. But it's going to be a long one, and there's going to be a lot of NorCal history and history in general. Before we start, though, I got something in the mail that I haven't opened yet. And it comes from last week's guest, Hansi Driscoll.
Dude, yes. This is the moment.
Oh, yeah. Gold Country Skateboards to Greg. Thank you, Hansi Driscoll. Fucking stoked. Thanks, Hansi. Appreciate this. What else we got in here? Oh, and a black version. This one's going on the wall. And Love and Chance Gold Country Skateboards DVD. First two guys to email talkinschmit@gmail.com saying, I love Hansi's skating and I want to check out that DVD. I'll send one and I'm going to keep one for myself. Let's get this sticker up though. Put it right next to the Blood Wizard. Thanks again, Hansi. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. I'd love to be part of the Old Dogs, Old Tricks curb skating video.
Hey, also big shout out to Alyssa Steamer, who finally got her Thrasher cover that she's never had. Her first time on the cover of Thrasher. Represent, and good job, Alyssa. Stoked to see what you got coming out in this Death Wish video next week, too.
Provoking the stoke.
Hey, it's kind of interesting. After part one dropped, a lot of people were stoked, but a lot of people were writing in saying, damn, Keith dropped a lot of F-bombs. And I'm like, who fucking cares, man? What the fuck?
I used that bad word.
Anyhow, instead of going back and deleting them and worrying about part two and how many F-bombs are dropped in that one, which might be double, Keith and I decided, hey, let's just give away some shit for the first person who counts how many F-bombs were dropped. I'm guaranteeing you that this episode has the most F-bombs in the history of Talkin Schmit.
Hey, what do you know? Bing, 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 bing.
So do us a favor, count them, send them the number, and the first person with the number of F-bombs dropped by Keith in this episode wins a complete skateboard, Keith Meek reissue of Indie Trucks and Bronson bearings, OJ wheels, mob grip, and some MEEKSTERBRAU gear, hat, couple shirts, some stickers, etc. I'll throw in some Talkin Schmit air fresheners as well. That's all I got left right now. That's talkinschmit@gmail.com. How many F-bombs did the Meekster drop? And don't be so fucking sensitive out there.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, this is Keith Meek, and you're listening to fucking Talkin Schmit. So start fucking counting.
Hey.
Talkin Schmit. I'm already not watching.
It's cool, like tonight is the night.
Damn, this is like the coolest thing I'm ever gonna do.
I wouldn't say it was fun.
What do you mean? Well, Christian Fletcher's younger brother.
Fuck the Dodgers.
Big Dog's in. What do you think, Dolan? We on? Schmitty?
Talkin Schmit.
Alpha macaroni.
Most of these guys, their opinion don't matter.
Talkin Schmit, right?
It's skateboarding.
I remember that.
Talkin Schmit.
What are yuns doing?
Holy shit.
Skateboarding homies.
No, Schmitty, you can't jump in.
What is happening?
Gregory.
Yes, we Wi-Fi check 1, Wi-Fi check 2.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm a little nervous, a little giddy, and super stoked. Today we got an OG that started skating before Thrasher Magazine. I think before there was even Derby. This is Meek from Santa Cruz.
NorCal legend.
Thanks for taking the time and being on the show.
Thanks for hitting me up, dude. I'm honored. Like, I love your podcast. It's awesome.
Thank you.
No, you do a good job.
One of the most mind-blowing shows I've seen to this day.
When did you start skateboarding?
Like 73, 74. Like when I started skating, I was in South San Jose.
Oh, okay. Like Saratoga,
and my
right?
family moved to Santa Cruz in 1979.
Oh, okay.
Right in the heart of Winchester was kind of happening, you know. I got dragged away to the land of no coping.
Hey, what do you know?
What drew you to it? Like in that era, was it popular? Like, how did you start skateboarding?
You know, I was in 7th grade, and I totally remember this. Like, it seemed like it happened in one day. Everyone had a skateboard at my school, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, that's sick skateboards. I know what those are. Like, and someone, well, I want one of those, you know? And like, so I fucking had to piece one together because I didn't have money. And I think, my friends were buying, like, I think you could go to Kmart or something and get like a Hang 10 with Chicago trucks and Cadillac wheels for like $34. But dude, that was like $1,000 to me, you know?
Yeah.
But I somehow pieced together some trucks and some wheels and some decks, and I kept modifying it. Like I'd update, like someone would give me an old deck and I get a better deck, you know. And it was back when, you know, loose ball bearings, and just nightmare, dude. You'd be skating down the sidewalk, and all of a sudden you'd just be all, and your bearings be rolling down the sidewalk, and after you ate shit, you know, and you just have to go find them
Because they weren't cased, right?
No case. It was just loose.
Was there other wheels? Because I always hear Cadillac wheels. Like everybody in that era seemed like they rode Cadillac wheels. Was there other wheels?
Yeah, that was like this shit was moving fast, you know, like, but for a second there, Cadillac wheels were the shit, you know, but then I ended up buying like some Stoker wheels. They're getting bigger. And that was cool. Like, oh, I got the bigger wheels, you know. And I remember I got some Stoker wheels. I was all fucking stoked. But yeah, that was a nightmare though, the loose ball bearings. And then I got my first set of Road Riders, and that just changed everything.
And that's when Living a Dream began, right there.
I mean, I'd see guys in the mag, you know, TA, Jay Adams, all those guys, Greg Weaver, and they all were riding Road Riders, and it's just like, what? I got to get a set of those. I didn't even know they were like from right around the corner, you know? And then like, so as soon as I got those, I was stoked, man. You just slide them on there. You didn't have to worry about your bearings falling out, and they were way smoother and faster. Changed the game. So we were just scrounging around, finding ditches and bowls and going down hills and doing the nose wheelie handstand thing, you know, all that slalom. And we used to go like take the bus to Los Gatos, and we'd go downhill. And dude, I hate downhilling. I hate shit so bad. I was just over it like day one, you know. But I used to go down. We used to take the bus, like me and Ray Stevens. He was like my original skate partner.
Did Ray live by you, or was Mike Fox live by you? One of those guys, right?
All of them. Yeah, we had our own little crew. But Ray lived like behind me, like 2 doors down, so I could walk on the fence, like to jump into his backyard and shit, you know?
Yeah. And
he had a little pond that we'd skate.
Oh, sick.
Dude, it was like maybe 3 feet deep with like brick coping.
Right.
Little kidney. And it was tiny, dude. It was fucking like wall to wall was probably 6 feet or something, you know? And we'd session the thing. We'd put ramps, we'd get plywood, and we'd set them up on the electrical boxes. We can make them steeper, you know. We'd be like, oh yeah, make it steep. Yeah, Ubis. We'd like name the spots, you know, for the steepness of it.
So Uvis was going, right?
Yeah, Uvis, I think, is the first legitimate skate spot I skated. Because like there was when I first started, there was a skate shop called Skateboard City in Campbell.
Oh, okay.
Mike Fox worked there, and Scott Odewalt, and like Matt Etheridge, and those dudes hung out there.
Uh-huh.
Know them yet? But I'd go there, and they had ramps in the back parking lot, like little angle ramps, but they had like 4 or 5 of them. So that was like a skate spot. So we'd go there and skate. And I remember Scott Odewalt, like I was riding the steep one, and he's all, "Hey, you like that steep ramp?" And I'm all, "Yeah, man, it's cool." And he's like, "You ever been to Uvis?" I'm all, "No, what's that?" You know? And that's how I found out about Uvis. And so I looked on a map, Uvis Dam, figured it out, got a ride out there. One of the older dudes had a car, and pull up at Uvis, and dude, full blown session.
No
like
way.
People used to session it. Like there's like 15 dudes there riding, you know, and like you go there now and it's just crickets. But it's like it was on, like that was a skate spot. And then I went there, and then you start meeting other people. The skaters are so cool. They're interested, like, "Where are you from? Where do you skate?" You know. And then Blackhart's name popped up, like, "You seen Blackhart skate here?" And you just thought, "Who's that?" He's all, "Dude, he drops in at the top," and you're just like, "Fuck, no way," you know. And so I started hearing like, okay, KT's name, Blackhart's name. You start to hear these names, and you don't really know what they look like. Nothing. Never seen photos of them. There's no videos. You can't film shit.
Right.
So like Uvis was one of the first spots, and then Kennedy Bowl was another one in Los Gatos.
Okay.
Kennedy Drive, like 2.5 mile walk up the hill. And like I remember the first time I went there, this guy Kirby took me and Ray. We went to Gremick. He's like, "You guys want to skate a bowl?" And we're all, "Fuck yeah!" And so we skated there, and then walked up the hill 2.5 miles, I think. And like there's skaters coming down the hill that were skating. So you're all, "Whoa, this is like gonna be legit." Like we get up there, full blown session up there, cement bowl in this front yard of this house, like a reservoir.
Was it an abandoned house or something?
No, there's like this girl lived there, people lived there, but they just didn't care.
Oh.
There's probably like 15 dudes there when we showed up.
Damn.
And this dude's doing nose wheelies around the top, right? And I'm like, "Whoa, that's sick." And I didn't know, but like years later, I figured out it was fucking Matt Etheridge.
No way. That's amazing.
Dude, everything is all interconnected. It's pretty sick. Like the timing and how everything worked out.
Right. And so as you're meeting those guys, what kind of, because I know that you guys were both doing music too eventually, like what kind of stuff are you listening to in the 70s? Like
those days before, like
as you're starting to skate, what's the music that's getting you hyped?
I'm listening to like dude, I was born and bred on Sabbath. Like my older brother is really into music, and so I was just following his lead, and he was getting his music from his best friend's brother that was like a senior in high school. We were like, I was in like 3rd grade or something. So we were listening to Sabbath and stuff right when those albums are coming out. You know, new Sabbath album's coming out, like right, just raw, dude. It was sick. And so I listened to Sabbath and AC/DC and fucking all kinds of that shit. Nugent, Queen,
standard rock stuff,
rock and roll, but like I like the heavier stuff, you know.
Okay.
And like Mike Fox and Howard Quebec actually turned me on to punk rock.
Okay, that's where I was gonna
late
ask.
77, 78, and Howard like had this fucking huge collection already. So I borrow albums from Howard, like, you know, the Damned's first album, Sex Pistols, Ramones, Buzzcocks, like Dickies, like just a lot of that stuff. I just fucking gave all my fucking rock and roll records to my brother. I'm like, "Hey, you can have these. I don't even want these touching my punk." You know?
It's weird, right? Like looking back, and I'm later, I'm like in the 80s, mid 80s, but same thing happened with me. Was when we started skating, it was just like, we don't know what the fuck's going on. We're trying to figure it out, but we're stoked, and we're building ramps and wood, like these, you know, just crap. In high school, somebody shows up and goes, "Dude, you got to go to the Varsity with me and see these punk bands that are playing there." And I went to one show, and it just changed my life, almost like the same way skateboarding changed your life. Like it was a feeling that it's hard to describe really, but it just felt like this is what I belong in, and this is my people. And it was kind of crossing over where skaters were at the punk shows and skaters were becoming punk, and just individualism and all that stuff really started to become more clear, trying to figure out what you're going to do. And I feel like that was just like, we got to go do that. Like when we saw, I think it was, I want to say it was the Faction and Suicidal Tendencies. It was the first show I saw at the Varsity. And I remember just going like, dude, we started going every week to shows, and like we'd go up to the farm and do all this other stuff. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, what's your version of that? Because you're like 10 years earlier into punk probably, right? Or like 79 or something?
70, late 77, 78, 79. Like my first show, Mike Fox took me on my first show. He took me to the Ramones in Berkeley. I think it was 77.
That rules.
I think it was 77, but I didn't even know who the Ramones were. And Mike was like, Mike did a lot for me. Like Mike took me under his wing. He took me to so many skate spots, pools, and like he did a lot for me. And Howard, like those guys, like I owe a lot to them. But Mike, like, I remember, dude, he came to my house and he had to ask my mom, hey, can we take Keith to see some music up in Berkeley? And she's all, what are you guys going to go see? And my mom was super cool. And he's all the Ramones. And she's all, oh man, that sounds like a band from like when I was in high school, you know? Like, and so she was always cool to like, I could do like, she'd let me go to LA trips with Mike and shit. But so we went, and that was it, dude. I saw the Ramones, and I was already listening to Howard's records a little bit.
Okay.
But that was the first show. Then,
do you remember the venue?
It was like at some place that would have shows, like a convention center or something. Like I can't remember though. And then I started going to shows at the Temple Beautiful. So that was the church where James Jones had his congregation. Right. And then they turned it into a punk venue. And so I saw like Buzzcocks there, Dead Kennedys, Middle Class, Mutants, bunch of bands, like, and that was probably 78, early 79. Major venue for shows.
Oh,
like, huge shows. Like you'd see like 5 insane bands. Like you'd see like Black Flag, Adolescents, freaking Minutemen, you know, whoever, fucking Delude, fucking so many fucking bands in one night. We were at a show and we came out and we walked around the corner. I was with this girl and I looked up and I saw the temple, and I was like, holy shit, it's right here. It was all closed down and fenced off and shit, but those were early shows.
Wow, dude, that must have been like,
you know that, like, who really has the fucking history on all the San Francisco scene in the 70s, the late 70s would be like, you know, you should talk to Mike Fox and like Chris and Anthony Fisher from a lot of Flex, and Tony and Tommy Guerrero. You know, those dudes were into it early, and those dudes, you know, they born and raised in the city, so they're surrounded by it. Like,
yeah, no, I've talked to Tommy a few times about things, and it's cool to pick. I guess like Henry Rollins came over to his house one day, and really? The band was practicing in his basement or something, and his mom was drinking tea with Henry Rollins. Like, so weird shit.
They lived downstairs. I think it was below their uncle's house or something. So it was like to get to their house, you'd go through the garage, and then there was the door from the garage, and they had like a little apartment down their studio.
Right.
Tommy and Tony had a little room, and then you'd come out of that room, go in the garage, and then you'd go up these little stairs to go into like where the living room and kitchen was in his mom's room. And that's where like Revenge and all that went down. Jerry's Kids.
And free beer?
Free beer. They're still living there when free beer was going down.
So how did you meet Tony and Tommy? Like, was it through punk or through skating?
Through skating. You
knew them early.
Dude, the first time I saw Tommy, I was at a contest, and it was in 74, I think.
Jesus.
In Aptos. I still have the flyers. And it was just like a flat parking lot, and they had a one angled ramp, and it was just full blown like freestyle. Like, but it was like a big contest. The Sims team was there, the Tunnel team, a lot of Flex. Like, there was major players, Santa Cruz team. So there's dudes in the mag. Waldo Autry was there, you know, like Greg Ayers, like Steve Monahan, Sims dude jumping off the van, like that style stuff. I saw this little fucking dude with a beanie on and greasy fucking hair, this little fucking dude. And I'm like, looking, I'm all, fuck, what's up with this guy? He looks rad. And he spins off like 8 360s. And I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck? And it was fucking Tommy. Ding! Tiny. Dude, he had to be like 8 or 9 years old or something.
Oh my God.
Ripping. Like, a lot of people don't know, like Tommy, dude, he's been ripping since fucking deep.
Uh-huh.
Like way before his PAL stint, all that. Like,
yeah, he was on Madrid before PAL, right?
Right, yeah.
And he was skating vert and stuff. Like, there's photos of him doing like slaw bears and.
Yeah, but that was even later. Like, we'd skate the parks together. Like, we'd go to Milpitas or Winchester or Campbell, like, because the South Bay was holding. Like, that, all the good spots were in the South Bay. And those dudes would come down, you know, and then the East Bay dudes would come down. It was kind of like everyone would congregate at the parks. And that's how I got to know, like, Tommy and Tony pretty well. And I remember they came down with Bryce at Winchester, and I jumped in their car and fucking jammed up and spent the night at Bryce's. And we all hung at Bryce's house and snuck beers and shit, you know, like Grom status. And that was right when the punk rock thing was just getting ready to start. We were listening to Avengers in Bryce's bedroom. And like, so I've known those guys a long time. Me and Tony were pretty close. He'd come down, stay at my mom's house. I'd go up there, stay at their house. It was pretty cool.
Were you kind of, as you're starting to get like connected with these guys and know more about skating and people and checking out the magazines and stuff, and I know you surf too. Were you surfing at that time yet?
I started surfing like around 1980.
Okay.
So right around that time when the punk thing started happening is when I started surfing, which was horrible timing.
Right.
Because, I just moved to Santa Cruz in 79. I'm learning how to surf and I'm a punk. So I'm just fucking hated. You know, you're standing out in the water, like just everything's against you. Like, don't know how to surf yet. They hate punk in Santa Cruz, you know, like just moved there. Like,
right.
I had some dues to pay.
Damn. Did you see Derby being made then? You were skating before Derby, right?
Yeah, but I didn't skate Derby until I moved to Santa Cruz.
Oh, okay.
It already existed, which was weird because I remember going on a trip with me and Bob DeNike and Cheeto and Scott Foss, maybe. We went over and we heard there was a pipe on the west side, Santa Cruz. They were building something, and there was a silo that was on its side. And we saw it, and now it's part of the Marine Lab or whatever. But Derby's right there, and fuck, we didn't even know it was there.
Okay.
So we drove all the way over there. We didn't even skate because the thing, we couldn't get in. It was like there was security or something. And Derby's like a block away. Like we drove right by Derby. We didn't even know it was there. So I didn't know Derby was there until I moved to Santa Cruz.
And that other park that I never got to skate, I think it was in SoCal, like had some bumps and stuff. Oh,
SoCal was like a legit skate park. It was built in 77, I think, 76, early. It was a real skate park. It had half pipe. It had a receiver run, a mogul bowl, but it was really bad. It was kinked, and by the time it was finished, it was out of date.
Oh,
but
really?
Like ripping dudes skated it. You know, like Kevin Reed, that was his park.
Did Roscop live there for a minute?
Yeah, but so they demoed the park, but they left the beginner bowl. So the beginner bowl was there, and this guy Brett Bly lived up there. And then John Insco moved in, and then Roscop ended up living there. So we had like our private little skate park. But it was funny too, because like Tony Roberts and Chris Heinen and those dudes were like super loped out fucking SC guys, right? They ripped at surfing, they fucking been skating forever, but they were younger. And Brett moves into the apartment and he starts laying down all these rules. You can't skate here. And those dudes are like, dude, this is our skate park. You just moved in here. And so we would sneak in when Brett was there, or we'd wait till Brett wasn't there. But then it all got cool after a while. But at first, like, they were button heads. It was classic, dude.
I cut my teeth at Derby.
Those were good times. You had parties there, like bands would play and shit. Blast played there at the park. And
oh, sick.
because it was like Brett's backyard.
Yeah.
Tommy in the 80s, a lot of dudes were coming down and skating it. Like you probably see tons of photos and footage.
Yeah, there was footage of like a bunch of people just kind of following each other through there, like early footage.
A mellow bowl was like, it had like flat walls, with rounded tranny and rounded tops. And then there was like a steep section that kind of had a little bit of a corner that would like go like, it was probably about 6 foot high, but it had round lips and it was steep enough where you could do airs and inverts and shit on it. And so you could just fly around this mellow bowl with like 4 foot walls, and then you have this steep thing you could hit.
Okay.
It was fucking pretty cool.
Was there like a hip? Yeah.
There was a hip. Yeah. There's a hip on the mellow part.
Okay.
But it was kind of hard to launch off. It wasn't steep, But ollie wasn't perfected yet.
Do you remember the first time you loaded up the car with some bros and went on like a road trip for skateboarding?
Dude, I was like a feral kid, dude. I was all over the fucking place.
Oh, really?
On the fucking floor. Yeah, dude. I was like, my mom got divorced from my dad when I was 5, and she never remarried. So it was just like, we were like wild. I was spending the night at everyone's house. Like, dude, we were going on skate trips all the time to Modesto, everywhere, Sacramento. But like, I remember this one time, it might have been the first time there's like this skate club, right? In the South San Jose. And it was kind of like whatever. And then we heard they're like doing a trip to Anaheim, Concrete Wave. And so we're all, oh, fuck, we got to sign up for this lame skate club so we can go on the trip. And it was sick. It was me and my friend Chris Morin and Alan Mercer and Mike Fox, Howard Kvek, and Mark Odewalt. And we get on this bus fucking late night, 11 o'clock, and then they drive all night. You got to bring your own lunch and shit. It's like a school bus, and we drive all night. We get to the park in the morning, and then we skate all day, eat your lunch, whatever. But like, Mike's like, dude, let's fucking bail. Let's go find the fruit bowl. It's like this pool that's been in like Skateboarder Magazine, fucking legendary sessions. They were like the Dogtown Boys and everything. But so we get on the bus system. They were all, okay, we had to sneak out of there because you can't, they're like watching you or whatever, like babysitting you pretty much. So we sneak out of the park and we're all, oh, where are we going, man? Like Mike always knew what was up. So I figured he knew what was up. But I knew he didn't know what was up when we were on one side of the street and he's all, oh, there's a bus on the other side of the street. Let's get that bus. So now we're going the other way that I thought we were supposed to go. So we basically spent the whole afternoon driving around a bus trying to find the fruit bowl. And then we gave up and we're trying to get back and the buses aren't coming. Like fucking, it's on a Sunday. And we're like, fuck, dude, we don't even know. Like, they don't know where we are. Fucking, there's no cell phones. Like, we're fucked. Like, and so the bus finally came and we got back like 15 minutes before like the park we were going to leave to come back home. Dudes, like I remember we come walking in and the chaperone dudes were all fucking trying to get all gnarly on us. Like, hey, you fucking guy. We're all, whatever, dude. And we fucking skated and then got yelled at on the way home on the bus. But like, that was the first like serious road trip. But like, we were getting after it. Like there was pipes and like Arbuckle had pipes that they were putting under the ground. They were like 16-foot perfect pipes. And there was like fucking miles of them. So
where's that?
Up there and Arbuckle's like, like Central Valley kind of.
Oh, like out Highway 5?
But yeah, but we drove out there, me and Al Mercer, we took his dad's truck and we found like 6 of those pipes in one day. Just perfect, skated on them. And Patterson pipe. We were doing road trips all the time. But like Mike Fox, he took me on a fucking sick one. Him and Mark Odewalt, we drove down to LA and skated like Marina Del Rey and Sparks, Goleta. And we used to get down there with skated Lakewood, Vista. Like we were getting around in the 70s,
Was there the NorCal SoCal vibe back then?
There was kind of like this unwritten rivalry, but not really. Everyone got along, when they skated together. But it was weird because NorCal was just pretty much unknown and didn't get any coverage barely in the early days of Skateboarder Magazine. It was all down south guys. But then I think when it changed is when the Newark contest happened, when the first Hester series. So it was the first series that had vert skating, right? So there's Spring Valley, and then, I can't remember all the parks. Spring Valley, Hester, Newark, everyone came. Dogtown dudes, San Diego dudes, everyone's there. It was the first time that I got to see like all those dudes skate in person.
Oh.
That was before the road trips I took down south.
Was Stropel and Salba and those guys were there? Or?
Everyone.
Okay.
Just all the heavy hitters, the best of the best. Like, there's a big contest.
And who was your guy? Like, who were you looking in the mags at and being like, that's my dude?
My three favorite dudes were TA, Jay Adams, and Greg Weaver.
Oh.
And I always thought, like...
It's like a diverse crew.
Yeah, kind of. But I thought if you could mold those dudes together, you'd have the perfect skater. Like, TA was fucking sick style, fucking aggressive. Jay Adams was super innovative and fucking super aggressive. And then, like, Greg Weaver was like flow master. You know what I mean? Oh, man, if you could put all that together, that'd be fucking sick. So that's what I was trying to do, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, like I was really, like, Mike Fox was a huge influence, and, like, he embedded it in me, like, style's important, you know? Speed and style and power.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there weren't a lot of tricks back in the 70s, like in pools, you know, you're doing frontside kick turns, backside kick turns, frontside carves, backside carves. That's about it. You know, the tail tap was just kind of coming out, you know, so it was all focused on how fast you rode and how smooth and your style.
And in control and like, yeah. How did surfing help that?
Surfing was, dude, like, I think I was just meant to surf. I learned really fast. Like, it helped me with backyard pool skating because before I surfed, I was like, okay, you got to get to the top of every wall. That's skateboarding. Fucking what's this shit? You got to get on the coping. And then surfing kind of taught me different lines. Like, you could hit this wall low to get the speed to get high on this wall, to hit this corner. Like, it opened my mind for drawing lines because surfing it's an open slate. You know, you surf the wave however you want to. That helped me with pool skating, actually, surfing.
What were some of the early pools you were skating? You mentioned like there was one in Los Gatos or something where you met KT.
That was the Vans pool. I actually went to the Vans pool with Mike Fox, but I didn't get to skate because the owner looked at me and said, "You're too little." And I'm like, dude, I'm going to bust tail taps in this looking thing. Like, just let me take one run and it'll be okay. And he just wouldn't let me skate. I was so pissed. Like, I just had to stand there and like, and watch these guys get like 3/4 of the way up. And I'm just like, fucking kidding me. But I think this is a story that Mike Fox told me recently. It's funny. It's KT, I think, was there because he lived like pretty much across the street. I know he lived in Willow Glen at this point, but he was there, and I didn't remember this, but Mike told me, and the guy, the owner, asked KT, like, "What do you think? Should I let these guys skate?" And then KT's all, "Nah, man, they can stay dry." So we got shut down. But I was like, the whole thing was frustrating. But that pool, I never actually got to skate, but we had a pool, the swamp, that was our pool in our neighborhood that we skated every day, and there's a lot of pools, dude. It was during that drought. Okay. And we started going up to Los Altos, pipe and pool. Not the kiddie pool, but the Orange Bowl.
Right.
Almaden Valley had pools, like San Jose, like downtown. Like, we were getting around. Like, Mike drove, so he would always hit me up. God, we got this new pool. Let's go. Like, he took me under his wing. So we skated a lot of pools.
What was your outlook on skating pools? Because like Salba seems like he wants to skate as many pools in one day as possible. Are you down for like trying to find as many pools as possible? Or are you looking for the best pool to skate and then go in there more repetitively and dialing it in?
You don't really know until you get there because you're on the search. Like, you go to a pool, and it was funny because back then it was like you'd meet someone, you see someone with a skate on the bus or something, you wouldn't even say hi. You'd just be like, hey, got any pools? Yeah. And then, like, you know, that's how you're introducing yourself. And then the dude's like, yeah, I got some pools. And so you're going to trade, right? And so you're like, does this guy know what's up? And you're trying to pawn off shitty pools and get good pools. It's like fucking playing blackjack or something, you know what I mean? And so sometimes you win, you know, but we would never give our good pools away, but we'd try to weasel. But that was a good way to get pools, you know, like people, there's a little underground network. Right. I don't know. Mike always knew what was up, dude.
Huh. Well, working at the skate shop, you're kind of the cool guy, right?
Yeah. And even before that, but he was older. He just knew what was up with everything. Like I was just following Mike's lead completely. Like, what are we doing? What do we got? And so we just start skating pools, and then the network grew, you know, and then you start meeting people, and like a lot of those people we met got into the punk rock scene too. And then the parks opened, and then you knew them from the pool scene. Like, it was like a big family. It was fucking sick.
What's your like remembrance of Bombora? Because that's so intriguing to me that it's like in our backyard, and I've actually gone there a few times and looked at it, and me and a couple of friends were like, could we dig it out if we just spent a year coming here every hour? Like, you know, like I
saw a photo, it's so high.
I know, it's fucked. But the neighborhood too, it's like no neighbors are gonna allow it.
Oh yeah, dude, they get kind of eggy when you're even in the 70s when you're there sometimes. But that pipe, I don't remember how we found out about it, but we took the bus there, and you pull in and you got to walk into the parking lot at Safeway, and then you go behind Safeway and you jump the fence and you get on like the reservoir trail. Yeah. And so you're walking and you can't see the pipe, and you're walking, and all of a sudden this fucking thing just you're just all like, whoa, fucking, it's huge. It's like 22 foot or something. And there was two pipes, right? There's the weird oval egg one, and then there's the round one. And the first day we went, we walked all the way through the fucking oval one, and we were skating the top of the pipe. That's where we thought everyone would skate. And then we came back, and everyone was sessioning the bottom, because some sections were good, some were rough. It was built, I don't know if you remember, but it was built with like quarter pipes. Like,
so did it leak?
Some spots in the middle, like where it didn't get sun, it would leak. Like you'd have to like sometimes clean it, you know, but it wasn't bad. There was a drought. Like it wasn't bad. People like put rocks up there and dam it if it was coming down a little bit, like trickling, you know. But like there was like there were 3 foot wide quarter pipes. They were put together to build the full pipe. So at vert, there was like a seam that was like 1.5 feet of vert. So it was like a quarter pipe, 1.5 feet of vert, then over vert. And then the seams didn't line up. Like some of them were offset. So you had to aim. Like you couldn't just ride the pipe randomly. You had to go straight up and aim until the fucking quarter pipes were flush. Because if you hit that thing, you just fucking die.
Yeah.
So it was a gnarly pipe. And I remember going there, and we were skating it a lot. And all these spots, dude, Los Altos pool and stuff, Uvis, wherever you go, you hear these stories. Did you see Blackhart skate this yet? You know, and you're just like, dude, I don't even know what the fucking guy looks like. And one day we went there, and fucking Blackhart and maybe KT and Waldo Autry were there. Waldo Autry is like the pipe guy, you know, like baldy fucking. But we go there, and fucking, I'm just like this little Grom's like, whoa, fucking finally. And dude, gnarliest skating to this day.
Like way higher than you'd seen.
Yeah, dude, because we go there and people be getting like right below the seam. And if you're getting the seam, you're fucking ripping.
Yeah.
Blackhart fucking just starts faking, and he's fucking faking over the seam. You're just going, whoa, and it's high, dude. The seam's like 11 foot, you know, like, so you're a little kid, you're just going, holy shit. And he starts kick turning, dude, and he just getting higher and higher. And there was these dots up there that were like, probably, they used to be probably holes where they poured your shot the fucking Creed in and then clean them up. But there's these dots at like way up there, dude, like 10 o'clock, and fucking Blackhart's like hitting the dots and shit, like huge, so high. And then he'd come down fakey and do a 360s over vert and shit.
Oh man.
Like real, like this, the first skating I saw in person that was at the level of the magazine guys.
Okay.
So far beyond what we all thought we were ripping. And then Blackhart came in and just fucking swept us out of the way, you know?
And was he a dick to you, or like, what was his attitude with you guys? Not even acknowledge you, or like, how did you guys find this pipe, or like, what was his deal?
Nah, dude, we didn't even exist.
Oh, okay.
Just like fucking didn't even want to speak. Just fucking like, dude, it's gotta be him, dude. Like, they're drinking beers and shit. Fucking like, yeah. But I didn't get to know him really until Winchester opened, and I became friends with KT before I became friends with Blackhart. Like KT kind of took me under his wing and was hooking me up with tunnel wheels and decks and shit. Shirts, like, and then I remember though, KT introduced me to Blackhart at the bottom of the half pipe at Winchester, and this is a classic quote. I'm like, hey, what's up with that fucking, how's that ramp? And you know, they have that big ramp that was in Skateboard Magazine that he's skating.
Yeah. And
he just looks down at me and he's just all, what ramp? Skates away. I'm like, that was like my introduction. Like, fuck, nice meeting you. Yeah, he was heavy.
Did you skate the park in Coyote Point?
I don't think so. Where's that?
It's like right before the San Francisco airport. There's like a big park there now and golf course. But I think, yeah. Yeah, I rode it once. That's all it took. I heard it was shitty, right?
It was so bad.
Yeah, okay, that's
it
the
had
one.
pools and stuff, but they were just so kinked and horrible. Like, it was kind of unskateable. And then they had a pipe that was made out of corrugated metal, and then they sheeted it with plywood. But that was all right. But like, yeah, I went there once and we're all fucking over it.
Okay.
There was so much good stuff to skate, you know?
And did you meet KT before Thrasher started or after?
Before.
Okay, so
I was hanging out with those guys in the 70s.
Wow.
So I've skated good pools with those guys. I turned them on to this pool in Gilroy that I wasn't supposed to I was supposed to keep it under the lid, and I couldn't fucking hold out, dude. I told Mike Fox, and we would go there, and it was at a ranch in Gilroy, like a garlic ranch, onion ranch. And you had to skate on Sundays because the fucking farm was shut down. And then me and Mike started picking me up like before school. We'd crack it, and we'd be down there like the crack of dawn. So we'd get out of there before 8, before they opened. So we were skating it a lot. And then I told KT about it because KT was hooking me up, or he was kind of a mentor for me. Like, he's the one that gave me my nickname Meekster. It started spreading, like, once KT knew, then Blackhart knew, but I think Mike told Blackhart, I told KT, then the Buck brothers are there, then Schlafly's there, and it's turned in these sessions. And then those dudes started putting tunnel stickers up and shit. And we showed up one day and it was jackhammered. But to this day, it was the best pool I've ever skated. Like, it was better than Winchester's Keyhole. Like, It was a perfect egg shape, and the sidewalk was the coping. So the coping was molded and poured. And so it was like 4 foot wide, like a path around the pool. And there was no stairs, and the pool, like, it was like 9 foot deep, 10 foot deep with killer trannies, like a foot of vert. And it was like they tilted it because there's no waterfall. It was just an angle. And the closer you got to the shallow end, the less vert it got. So the shallow end wasn't even vert. It was like a mini ramp, but like a steep mini ramp, like almost vert.
Wow.
So it's like, that's where we learned to drop in. Because you couldn't get down there and push because there was no waterfall. I learned roll-ins at that pool, actually. But like, yeah, like, we were skating all kinds of good pools. People had like their pools they'd hold on to, like back to where we were talking about trade and shit, you know?
Yeah. I like that. Is there a story behind KT coming up with your nickname, or is it just typical KT throwing words around? He's like, Meekster.
KT, he's got his own vernacular. I think he invented the NorCal vernacular, dude. So fucking rad. He just sit there and spit shit out, dude. And you just go, it is all rad. He actually, there was nothing behind it. Like, he would just make up words, you know? And like, first he was calling me Keithage. Just like, I'm just rolling with it. But then Meekster stuck. I think he called Scotty Scottage. Scott Foss.
Yeah.
Hey, Scottage. Like,
yeah.
Always had the fucking.
And that kind of set the standard for the mag, I think. Like, they had all these, like the trash section. It has all these undercover names. Like, if you're not in the know, you don't know who they're talking about and all that stuff. It's
like Talkin Ed.
Yeah.
You know what that's all about? Like, those dudes used to say, like, it was like, oh, you're talking this. Like, they'd be all, but KT be all, talking vert, talking, you know, and so Talkin Ed, you know what I mean? Like, that's my perception of it. Like, it's not like Talkin Ed like he's speaking. It's like, you're talking editor. You know what I mean? Yeah, KT's personality was in that magazine, dude. His soul.
Yeah, and I always say that, like, when I was a kid, he was the dude that was coming, because we were in Palo Alto. We had a skate shop down there, and he would show up with the mag and just ask about your scene and be super cool. And like, he was the first dude that I actually saw in the wild from the mag, and we always appreciated it so much. And just like his like kind of loose and just like fun attitude, that's what that was just everything. It was like, yeah, fun, you know?
Yeah. They used to have raging parties at their house in Los Gatos on that ranch I was telling you about. You go there and just be this congregation of all skaters. Because, you know, you go to parties, it'd be like high school party jocks and shit. Yeah. But those parties were just 100% skateboarders. Like, super rad, super fun. And they held, like, I think Steve held onto that property for a long time. Like, he told me his parents even lived there for like 10 years.
Oh, really?
His parents moved in. He was living somewhere else, and he came back, moved there. But that shit's all gone now.
So talk about like the era where I guess Mike probably starts the band, and you're like singing for Los Olvidados in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So how did that all go down? Was there any band before that, or is that Mike Fox's first band too, or did they already dabble in it? Or
that, I'm pretty sure that's Mike's first band.
Okay.
Like, it's weird when I talk to Ray, and then I talk to Mike and talk to Matt, and like, everyone's stories are a little different and timelines different. But Mike hit me up. I remember I was over the hill. I had to go to court for some shit I did. And I got dropped off in Palo Alto. And Mike's all, we'll pick you up. There's a pool there. Like, so I just waited at this major intersection for them to show up. And we skated kiddie pool for the first time. And then that's when Mike was like, hey, we're starting a punk band and you're singing. I'm all right. Like, I was already into the whole scene and stuff. And so that was like Matt Etheridge on drums, Mike Fox on guitar, Mike Voss, the singer, was on the second guitar, Ray Stevens, and me. I didn't even get a gig in. Like, we just practiced. We did a bunch of cover songs. We had like 2 original songs. And then I quit like after like 6 practices because I was living in Santa Cruz and I didn't drive. So I dropped off, and we practiced, and then I'd just be like stranded marinating in SJ with nothing to do for days, you know? So I kind of was like, oh man, I'm surfing and stuff. Yeah, it's too hard to get over there. And then Mofo started singing. And so that was Los Olvidados with Mofo. And then Mofo was out of it. And then Mike gave up. Mike Voss started singing. And then there was just one guitar with Mike Fox. But then there was Drunk Engines, which was the original Mofo Los Olvidados lineup. So
yeah, that's so like, there's so many crossovers. And I love this story. Mofo told me that Drunk Engines kind of started because he started working at the mag and he was getting shit like, you got to work for us. You can't be in a band. You have to be a photographer, not. And so they thought, okay, we'll put masks on and no one will know it's us.
Oh, that's awesome. I never knew that. That's so hiding in plain sight.
That's so
great.
cool. I mean, just like total, like, we're not going to give up, you know?
Yeah. Like, hey, you can't tell me what to do on my fucking free time. What? You know?
And when I talked to those guys, I was like, what's a good question for Keith? Like I asked a bunch of different dudes that knew you. The one question that was in common was, what's the story about Jackie O?
No shit. That's the question. That's all Mike Fox, dude. Like I heard Ray Stevens' version of it. Mike's all, I got this song. And so that was like our version of 1-2-XU. And had the little slow part, you know, and so, and dude, there was like 7 words in the whole song. Like Jackie O on the go, Jackie O on the go. And then the guitar comes in, it's all jet set. And that was it, over and over and over again, dude.
Okay. What were some of the clubs that like San Jose? Were you going to San Jose more or San Francisco more or both or?
No, like by that time I was living in Santa Cruz.
Oh.
There was a couple little clubs, like some guy had a warehouse in Harvey West and he had punk shows there, like Circle Jerks played there and Black Flag, and it was just a warehouse. And then there was like the art center, the Santa Cruz Art Center. It's still there, but in the back there's like a small like theater setup. It had like seats, you know, for plays or something, and like the capacity was like 37 people or something. And this guy Henry Hample was having shows there. Like MAD would play, and Young Alcoholics, and DOA actually played there.
Oh, sick!
It was like a lot of parties and stuff, but like San Jose shows, I would go to them, but it was more about the city, because the city was so rich. That scene was just, it was insane. Like all the top bands were going through the city, you know, when they were on tour.
And Dead Kennedys are from the city.
God, there's so many bands from the city. They had such their own scene.
They had their own, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then the LA bands and bands from all over would go there, you know, but.
So besides that Geary spot you were talking about, what other, do you remember other venues early on in the city?
So there was the MAB.
Right.
And then on Broadway, right above it. And then there was the Tool and Die, Sound of Music, Def Club, Elite Club, 10th Street Hall, the Temple Beautiful, what they called it. You know, the People's Temple was the Temple Beautiful.
Yeah.
That was mainly what was going on like in the early 80s, like from 79. Well, I mean, Def Club was early. Like they were probably having shows there in 77 and stuff. I never went to the Def Club, but that was like up until like 82. That's kind of when I wasn't going to shows as much. Like it kind of got popular, and it used to feel like when you'd go to a show, you'd know like half the people there, and like it was like a family. And then it just got bigger and bigger,
and then I showed up,
like going in a circle and calling it the pit, and fucking like it used to just be chaos, you know. And then all of a sudden it's a circle, and we're like, well, what the fuck's this, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then there was the people before us, like, you know, Tim Lockfelt and Chris and Anthony Fisher from Melodiflex, and those guys, like Tommy and Tony, like those guys saw some early shit. Like in 1980, 81, I was going to a lot of shows up there. But after that, it kind of got more into other things.
Mm-hmm. You just like, you started surfing more. You're living in Santa Cruz, right?
Yeah, I started surfing like 1980, and I got really into it. Like I surfed a lot. Like I surfed more than I skated when I was pro skater. Like I was into it. Like I was sponsored and stuff.
Rad. What's the Santa Cruz vibe has always seemed pretty, like, I guess surfing in general is territorial, but Santa Cruz always seemed more so like, if you're not from here, like, I don't know the spots, but let's just say Pleasure Point, like, don't show up here, like Steamer's Lane, you're out of here, like, west side, east side.
Kind of regulators and stuff, you know, but it was like that back then, like all the spots, you know, like it was controlled, and there was rules, and like people would come in from the outside and not know the rules or the pecking order.
Right.
And it'd fuck everything up, and they'd get hassled. And, you know, like some spots were like fucking hard to surf, dangerous, you know, and you got guys just paddling out there and like, nah, man, you got to get out of here. But now it's just free for all. It's just done, you know.
Yeah.
But there was a vibe, definitely. And it's even like the whole town kind of had a vibe because it's a tourist place that's small. And then like a lot of tourists would come to the beach and just leave their trash and just kind of fuck up the community for the day and leave. And then the locals are ending up cleaning everything up. And so there's like animosity building before I was even around there for sure. Like when I first moved there, like, dude, I wasn't allowed to surf spots. I had to fucking work my way up for years, you know, and earn respect, give respect.
Yeah.
And that whole like deal's gone now. It's blown out. You got money, you're buying a house on Pleasure Point and you're the guy. You know, what I mean? It's pretty bad.
Right.
And it's crowded. It's so fucking crowded.
Yeah. You don't want to go on weekends for sure, right?
It just seems like it's always crowded. Like, I don't know if anyone works anymore.
Yeah, I always trip on that because to be a good surfer, you have to surf all the time. Like it ain't easy. Like you got to like get out there. And so I'm like, where do these guys get all these hours?
Totally. It used to be more like schedule out, like, okay, all the kids are in school, so it's uncrowded before school gets out. And then all the dudes working, they don't get out till 5. So it used to be pretty uncrowded if you could work it, you know, like not have a job and survive. But that's a lot different now.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Thrasher. What do you remember, like, as the origin story and stuff? Like, what do you remember? Like, were you hearing any discussions before it came out, and like, what were the reactions as it does come out? Like that kind of, I guess, 1981, right? January.
Yeah, I remember hearing stuff like rumors, you know, because I think at that point KT had moved to San Francisco, right? Mm-hmm. And we went up to the First Mile High ramp.
Oh, Tahoe.
Very first one. And Chantry was there. We went up there and stayed at Mike Chantry's house with Caton. And Caton invited us up. And it's me and Scott Foss. And I don't know. That's where we met Tony Hospital. And fuck, I forgot what I was fucking talking about. Oh, yeah. Someone mentioned Thrasher was in the making, right? I think it was Terrebonne. Like, I think he knew what was going on. He's like, yeah, magazine's going to start. It's called Thrasher. And I remember writing on the side of the ramp, you'll all become thrashers or be thrashed or something like that. And that was like the first time I started hearing stuff. And I remember being at NHS telling Novak too, like, dude, we need a magazine. There's no magazine, you know, and that, you know, they were probably already building that whole idea, you know. That's the first stuff I heard is like with that Tahoe trip. It's the first time I heard mention of like Thrasher, the word, you know.
So you were with NHS before Thrasher started?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I started skating for Santa Cruz before Dwayne, before Salba. Like, only original guy on there before me that kept going was Olsen.
Olsen, yeah.
They actually asked me to skate for him, I think in 77, and I said no. And fucking, I don't know why. And then I got on in 78.
78. And before that, were you on Astral for a bit?
Yeah, how'd you know that? Like, that's crazy.
This guy did his research.
So that's why I said no the first time, is I was riding for Astral, and this guy, John Krissick, had something to do with the team, and he saw me skating. I was riding this longboard with a broken arm. I had just broken my arm. And so I was just cruising. He's all, hey, no way, man. Who's that guy? And I'm like, kind of looking at him like, dude, I'm not even doing anything. What are you talking about? And fucking, I remember him saying, like, he was talking to someone's all, that's fucking Meekster. And like, he didn't even know I rode vert and shit. And he's all, is he as good as Cheeto? Little Martino is Jim Martino's little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's better than Cheeto. And the guy just goes, hey, you want to skate for Santa Cruz? And I thought, I was riding for Astro, and I thought it was kind of weird. I'm all, dude, you haven't even seen me skate. I'm like fucking broken arm, just rolling around. Like, it's weird. So I just said no. I thought it'd be cool to say no. Fucking stupid, you know? But I ended up, after Astro, I skated for like 2 weeks and then got on Santa Cruz. So it happened anyway, like 6 months later.
And so NHS is it's Novak, Hout, and Sherman, right?
Right.
And so did you know that Sherman?
I knew Sherman was still around when I first started skateboarding.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what were those guys like? Were they like Novak, or were they a different breed? Like
Sherman was gnarly, dude. Like he's like a big dude, fit, like kind of a no nonsense. I was kind of intimidated by him. I didn't really speak to him much, you know. And he passed away pretty quick after that, so I didn't really get to know him. And then Novak's like, you know, Novak. Yeah. Fucking Novak's Novak, right?
Yeah.
Old school surfer. He's got great stories. And I mean, I've known Novak since I was probably like 14 or something. And so I ended up working for NHS in 1980. Like I started skating for him in 78, started working for him in 80. And so I got to know those dudes really, like Novak, like really well. And we got along good. Like surf and stuff. And how, I don't know how very well, but he's just a fucking legend. Surfboard shaper, surfer. He's still shaping surfboards, still surfing. Like he's legendary, old school Santa Cruz surfer.
Okay.
So there's like a lot of culture in that NHS name.
Mm-hmm. When you're talking about the mag to Novak, does he kind of hint like we got something going, or are you talking like how do you find out about it? Is it through KT or?
When we went to the Mile High ramp, I heard it, and then I can't remember. Like, must have got the first issues from KT. You know, like you said, he'd show up places and he'd pass out the mag. And, but I remember like it was cool because it was like the way KT did it. It made us feel like it was our magazine. You know what I mean? Because we were always like Skateboarder Magazine, Skateboard World. It was so like Southern California fucking driven. This felt like, oh, we have our own mag. These are our bros. They were putting this together. We've known these guys for years already. Like they didn't just depend on the fucking California scene. They were always bringing in articles from all over the country and, you know, people you never heard of. Like you're starting to see a bigger world of skateboarding. Or Skateboard Magazine was just fucking, I don't know, kind of constrained, you know?
Okay. Yeah, it was interesting when I talked to Brian Brandon, he was talking about like submitting, and I think like Tim Kerr, like Texas had a scene, and it was all funneling into Thrasher, and they were getting these things from different scenes, which was really cool.
Florida, East Coast, like it wasn't just... I don't know, it was getting kind of fucking stale, you know? Same dudes, every fucking Skateboarder Magazine cover, same dude on the cover every time, same dudes in the articles, like,
right.
It's cool, those dudes ripping everything, I'm not giving shit, but it's like, fuck, dude, there's a big world out there.
Yeah.
Fucking, let's see that. But that's what Thrasher kind of felt like, you know, it's our guys that built this, and there's some pride there, some NorCal pride.
Do you remember meeting Fausto for the first time?
Yeah, I met Fausto early, but like, I wasn't one of Fausto's guys. You know what I mean? Like, you know how he takes guys under his wing? I wasn't one of those dudes. I remember Brian Buck gave me my first set of Indy trucks, experimental fucking 109s. Like, and Fausto, I'm all, Fausto, because I kept asking him for trucks, you know? He'd give me shirts and shit or whatever, but I wouldn't get the trucks. And well, I don't need your trucks. I got these. And he's like, whoa, you can't have those. Took them from me. And I'm like, wait, now I don't have any trucks. And I fucking, like, where's my trucks? And we didn't even trade. You just took the ones I finally had in my hand. I liked Fausto. Fausto was fucking classic, dude. No nonsense. I liked him.
Absolutely, yeah.
I never worked for him or anything, but he knew I worked for Novak, and he'd always be like, you still working for Rich? And we'd have those conversations. And he was always around, like, at the contests and stuff.
Were you at Joe Lope's ramp contest?
No, but I skated Lope's ramp before the contest. Like, Roscott first moved to town. And so when he moved to Santa Cruz, he rented a room from my mom. So I was kind of getting reconnected because I was just full surf, not going to the skate park anymore, like living a completely different life. Like we went back to the streets, like it got raw again. Skating little pitches, like skating all the way to the skate spot, skating, skating to another skate spot, skating like on the skate 24 hours a day, pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
As the skate park thing was like, okay, take the bus to the skate park. I keep my shit there, skate, leave, and then you go back to the normal world. You know what I mean? Like, but Santa Cruz is like fucking awesome, dude. Like skating, parties, going to the beach, surfing, and the whole skate thing was accepted. Like San Jose, it was like no one gave a shit about skateboarding. But then moved to Santa Cruz, and I'm meeting my friends' parents and shit, and they're all, "Oh yeah, we heard you rip at skating." They're like talking the same fucking language and stuff. What? Oh yeah, I heard you fucking do good backside airs and shit. Like you're just all, what the fuck? This is sick. Like you guys know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like every day was an adventure, you know. And then the punk rock thing happened, and Blast dudes moved to Santa Cruz and started building this little scene. It was fun.
And when you were working for NHS, that's when the Slasher comes out, right?
Yeah, that came out in like 85.
And did that originate from like a show or something?
That
I heard it was on a flyer or something.
Do that for a surf contest flyer.
Right. Oh, surf contest.
Surf dudes were like, it's too gnarly. Like, tone it down. And so they didn't use it. And so that sat on the shelves for years, a couple of years. And then I was running the production area at NHS, like doing all the silk screening, and I had Freel under me, and Mike Niter was working for me and all that.
Wow. Freel was there then?
I hired Freel.
No way.
I hired Niter.
Wow.
So I worked directly for Tim Piamarta.
Okay.
How I got in that whole thing. I learned a lot from that guy, you know, like there's wearing a lot of hats at NHS over the years. But what are we talking about? Here we go again.
The Slasher board.
Oh yeah. So we had moved from 41st Avenue to Soquel after it was growing, and Olson was doing his SOS stuff. And so we had a meeting with me, Novak, Tim Piamarta, Olson, and Phillips. And Phillips brought the Slasher graphic to actually show Olson. And he modified it, put like a fucking pompadour on it, full greaser looking. It was sick. Like that was the first time I ever saw it. I was like, whoa, that thing's insane. And Olson just didn't like it.
Huh. No checkerboard.
I don't want to do that. And then right then, Tim's all, we're doing this with something. And I was already writing, I was cutting out my own shape to skate, like on the bandsaw. Every skate I had, I'd write my own shape. He's all, we're going to use your shape and put this graphic on it. And I'm like, he's all, well, you'll get like 50 cents a board. I'm all, fuck, cool, all right. But I was still working there, doing the screening thing. And then they got the films, and they were putting the films on an actual cutout shape, see how it fits. And Novak comes in, and Tim's explaining to him, like, yeah, we're going to, use Meekster shape, give him 50 cents a board, blah, blah, blah. And Novak's like, dude, let's just put his name on it and give him a buck a board. And I'm just like, fuck, this is getting better and better, and that's kind of a weird way of how that came about.
So your name was on the original one?
Huh?
Your name was on the original? I thought maybe it was like Slasher and then your name was on the next round.
Slasher, and then my name was always Tiny somewhere.
Oh.
Which was kind of a weird little Tim Piamarta fucking, I think maybe I got his model, or I don't fucking know, but it was a weird little suppression deal that was going on there for years.
Okay.
But it's all good, but that's how it came together. So it was kind of weird. Like I didn't go up the amateur ranks, and I was more like I don't know, I could skate really good. Like I was going to turn pro at the first Winchester contest, how it was going to pay my entry fee. And I fucking shined it. I got all nervous or whatever. So I was at that level in the late 70s, and this didn't happen until the mid 80s. So it was almost like I got sat on for a while, and then by that time, dude, I'm surfing, got girls, or drinking beers, wasn't that into it. If that would have happened earlier, I would have been more focused.
Uh-huh. But, were you guys partying pretty hard back then?
Yeah, dude. I think I started smoking pot when I was 10, 11,
yeah.
and then started drinking when I was 13, just in it deep. I tried pot. I've been sober for over 10 years now, which God, I wish I would have done that like 20 years ago.
I know. I just hit 8 years.
Oh, sick. Right on.
Yeah.
Feels good, huh?
So good.
I owe you an amends for this, buddy.
Like I always tell people, they're like, what? How? What? You know? And I'm like, I don't miss hangovers. There's no regrets at all. But like when I hit like 40, the hangovers were just anxiety attacks, and I couldn't deal with it. I was just like, dude, something happened. I don't know what happened, but maybe it's just me getting older, but like I can't handle this anymore. Like, because we would drink all night and then go to work the next day, and it would be totally doable. Then one day it wasn't.
Oh shit! I used to have crazy delayed ones. Like I'd be hungover for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
couldn't get out of bed, headaches, just nausea. I was poisoning myself.
Too, I can't imagine fucking social media, because we did a lot of dumb shit, you know, but now everybody has phones. Like if everyone had phones when we were doing shit, there'd be video and photos of some shitty shit that it's like, I was just wasted. I blacked out. I don't know. And then
not my fault.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but it was me.
Yeah. Someone stole my body.
And my mind. What's going on? Yeah. No, dude, it's just crazy shit.
Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know about what's going on with me since I started drinking Magic Mind. Can't tell you for sure if it's 100% the Magic Mind or not, but I will say this. I started drinking Magic Mind every day. And since then, I put out a Wes Kramer podcast, an Old Dog's New Year's skate video, and I'm averaging a 2-hour interview each week with a new guest through January, creeping into February, along with keeping up with my day job, taking care of my little doggy, giving my wife the love and attention she deserves. And not to mention, I have a saltwater reef tank that takes extreme focus and precision to keep glorious. Shout out High Tide in Oakland. Nevertheless, that's my adventure. And if you want to try some Magic Mind, these guys are offering the following to my listeners. The good people at Magic Mind have come up with a January offer to help you get your goals started properly. And here's how it works. For the entire month of January, you can get 1 month free of these Magic Mind elixirs when you subscribe for 3 months. Go to www.magicmind.com/Jan Schmit. And with my code Schmit20, you'll get an extra 20% off, which gets your grand total to a whopping 75% off. Again, this only lasts until the end of January, so hurry up before it goes away. That's magicmind.com, Jan Schmit, with the code Schmit20. Get yours today and be prepared to have your mind on some magic and some magic on your mind.
Your ping pong game may drastically be improved.
So we were talking about Bombora a lot, and I don't think we really mentioned too much about the Los Altos pool that also happened to be pretty important spot back in that era. Talk to me about like what was going on, who the locals were, what the sessions were like.
So yeah, the pipe and the pool kind of went hand in hand. Like you would go to the pool and there'd be a fucking session, and then you'd leave the pool, go to the pipe, and then those dudes that were at the pool would be showing up at the pipe. And then you go back to the pool. Like me and my friend, like my best friend in like my senior year, I met him my senior year. The end of my freshman year we met, and his name was Chris Moore, and we skated everything together. Like I found a pool that was like across the street from our high school. Like this chick that was in my math class was all, you skate pools? I know where a pool is. I'm all, what? Like, and we went and checked it. We went and we skated it, and then fucking Howard Kvek walked in, and he was vibing us because it was his pool. Like I drained it, and he's like looking at us like, how the fuck did you guys find out about this? Did someone by the initials of MF tell you? And I'm sitting in the pool going, no, man, DD, Debbie Domenico. Like, we just all were like, oh, fuck, are we in trouble? And he was talking about Mike Fox.
And now, another first impression with Mike Fox.
I first met Keith at a ramp somebody had built in our neighborhood. And this was like before half pipes and quarter pipes and stuff, just, the block ramp. And he was with a little group of kids, that were skating it who sort of hadn't figured out how to pump through the transitions yet, so we were showing them that. And the thing that really stood out about him to me at that time was he already had just a really great style, which, you know, if you've ever seen him skate, you know that he's right up there with Weaver, Alva, Adams, all those guys. Keith was also an early skate rock guy. I mean, he was the very first singer in what would later become Los Olvidados, the Engines, Ancestors, Gods of Sound, that whole group of guys.
Mike Fox told you, and Mike didn't tell us, but then that's how I got tight with Mike Fox and Howard and all those guys. Me and Chris randomly found this pool that was theirs, and we're all skating it. And so we just skated with those dudes every day and got tight. And so me and Chris heard about this pool in Los Altos, and someone just said, yeah, there's a killer pool in Los Altos. It's at the end of Edith. And we're like, okay. And that's all we had to go on. So we got on the fucking bus from South San Jose to Los Altos, like a 2-hour bus ride. And we ring the bell at Edith, and we're just all, which end should we go to, you know? And so we went to the end, luckily the right end. And then like, so we go through the last intersection before you go to the end of Edith, and there's a bunch of skaters, like a group of like 4 skaters at the stop sign. And we're all, we'll ask these dudes. And we're all, hey man, what's up? Like, we're trying to find the pool, dude. Where's the pool? And they're all, yeah, you go to the end of Edith and you make a right, and then you look for a trail. We're all pretty vague, but okay. And the dudes we were talking to was Scott Foss. So that's how I met Scott Foss, like summer of 77. And so like we went to the pool, we made a right, and we saw this little trail, and we're just like, all right, this might be it. And we start walking up this trail. It's all bushes. And then the bushes open up, and there's a fucking pool and a full-blown session going on. We're like the Holy Grail, you know, clouds party. You're all, oh. And then everyone, when you come up the trail, everyone turns and looks at you. So you're just like, fuck. You just kind of scurry over to the fucking side, and, you know, but there's like, fuck, 20 dudes there sessioning. Like, it was a spot.
Yeah.
So we would
what shape was it?
It was a kidney.
It was a kidney.
Left-hand kidney. It was a really good pool.
Good tranny, right?
Yeah, good tranny. And like the light was pulled out, and there's like a plywood perfect circle fitted in there. Like, dudes have been skating it for at least a year before we got there.
Is there any like iconic photos from it that stand out that you remember?
Yeah, dude, I think
there's probably tons, right?
Yeah, for sure, dude. There's a photo of like Waldo Autry there. Randall Buck got in Skateboarder Magazine there. I think like Mike Goldman. I think it was Mike Goldman got a shot there. And then because there was tunnel guys coming down, like Rod Saunders and those dudes were skating it. It was a really good pool. And I was like, we cut our teeth, kind of like that swamp pool I just told you about, where me and Chris first skated with Mike Fox and stuff. That's kind of where we really progressed and learned. And then we went to Los Altos, and we learned there also. So we were going back and forth because the swamp pool is right by our house. This is like the beginning of this whole thing. So this is kind of like where all the best of NorCal would gather and skate this pipe and pool. It's like the scene. And that's where I met a lot of my lifelong friends. Dude, I met Joe Fong there, Steve Weston, Ron Issa, like
Shout out.
Monty Valier,
Kevin
Campbell. Steve Weston was the older dude. Like, he was older than Blackhart and KT and everyone. He was like the first dude that actually, out of that crew, that talked to me.
Oh, shit.
Weston was like, he did a lot for me, like, over the next few years. Like, he was like my surrogate father or something. He'd give me money and fucking feed me. And like,
nice.
Yeah, spot me with a quad so I could play pinball or something. He was fucking awesome. He had a lot to do with that whole crew. You know, it was like Kiwi and Robert Schlafly, the Buck brothers, KT, Blackhart, Weston, Tim Lockfeld, and then Mopo was in the mix.
Shout out.
So I think there are some photos. I think Mopo took, I'm not sure. There's a sick photo of Blackhart going over the stairs. Like, there's some shit going down at that pool. It was rad. But so me and my friend Chris, we were taking the bus 2 hours there and back, like, to skate every day. And then we fucking found out his mom worked right on Edith.
How the hell do you know?
So then we were like stoked. We're like, we get up in the morning, make a brown bag lunch, and then commute with her to work. We could skate to the pool from her work. And so we'd be there. We just had to meet her at 5. So we'd be there all day, dude. We'd like have our little lunch and we'd pull in and skate the pool, then go to the pipe, then come back to the pool. As long as we were back at the business by 5, we were good, right? But like you'd walk into the pool, dude, and it'd be like the whole shallow end would be lined up and someone would be rolling a joint, dude, and they just passed the joint. Like I was tiny too, and it was like no one cared. It was a rad scene. The pool got fucking demoed. I was there. The fucking owner came like late in the summer and started throwing oil and rocks in the pool and shit. And that was kind of the last time you saw a lot of those dudes. Steve Weston ended up managing the Modesto skate park. So we were going out there to skate that. We're all, no way, it's fucking Weston. And we're all, can we skate? And he'd be like, yeah, pick up the trash over here, and you guys, I'll let you skate. So we'd be over there picking up trash and shit, and they'd let us skate, you know. But when Winchester opened, all these dudes came out of the woods. They were from Los Altos. It was like a reunion. No way, dude, I remember you from Los Altos. So it was a really cool scene. And that's where, like, dude, the best of the best would gather there. So you got to see the real NorCal foundation, the core of, like, what was going on in the Bay Area.
And that's where, like, little Stevie appears.
No, dude, Stevie, born and raised in the skate park.
At Winchester, right?
Yeah, but that was after Los Altos pool.
Oh.
So Winchester wasn't open yet.
Oh, okay.
So like a year later or so, Stevie showed up. Where we go into a little Glue Man story, you know? Like, but that needed to be said because that was a really important part of the NorCal scene. And those guys, like all those guys I just mentioned, were already seasoned and ripping, dude. They were like doing the shit you saw on the mags in the pool. And it was another thing, like you'd show up and you'd be like, dude, you just missed Blackhart. One of those again. Like, and that happened to me at the pool like at least 2 or 3 times. I'm all, fuck, man, when am I going to see this dude, right? And then, like we talked about, I saw him at the pipe finally.
Was Kiwi and Weston, were they from the San Jose area?
They're from like Palo Alto, Midtown. That was there. I think all those dudes are up from there, like Lockfelt and Ian Weston and the Buck Brothers. They're from up in those neck of the woods, like those Palo Alto-ish area.
You mentioned Blackheart being kind of the elusive creature that was like the guy they kept saying like, oh, and you hadn't seen him.
Right.
It made me think about like, did you ever hear the story about him getting 86 from the skate park? Like all of a sudden he's got, like they wouldn't let him skate there.
Actually, fucking, I was right there. And there's a lot of stories circulating around. Like he threw a football through the window and got 86. I was there, the window of the pro shop. I was there when that happened too. And the window never broke, but it flexed like fucking, it should have broke. It was like, whoa, I was standing right by the window, but he fucking hooked his football and it almost broke. But I think at that point, he might have already been 86 because he was allowed to fucking hang in the parking lot, but he couldn't even come into the pro shop. And so he'd hang out there, dude, and everyone would go out there and hang with Blackheart and then go back in and skate and shit. And he'd open up his trunk, dude, and it was like a fucking skate shop.
Oh,
super organized, like in little boxes, wheels and shit. What do you need, kid? Fucking, you know, It's pretty classic shit. But it was a super hot day and we were skating the Keyhole and it was just me and Blackheart. And it was like one of those days where it was so hot, like the park's pretty empty. So I took a run and then I fucking kind of slid down the wall and fucking just laid in the shade against one of the walls and the plaster's all cool. And I took all my pads off and I was just laying there. And Blackheart drops in and starts skating around me, you know, fucking, and then he fucking kind of comes down and does the same thing. We're just laying in the shade, like going, fuck, it's so hot, blah, blah, blah. And I got up, took a run without my pads, and I was just cruising like halfway up. Like, I don't want to be seen because fucking Wolfman was gnarly.
Yeah.
He's all, good idea. And he starts skating with no pads on, but he's like grinding and shit. And I'm just like, fuck, he's kind of blowing it. I look over in the corner of my eye, I see something, and I see fucking Wolfman. I'm like, he's standing fucking right there. And he's just like, that's it, Blackheart, you're fucking 86 for life. You're out of here. And I'm just like, oh, fuck. Like, and he looks at me with no pads on sitting down there. And I'm like, I'm out too. And he just kind of fucking looked at me and vied me and reprimanded Blackhart, like, come on, let's go. And then that was it, dude. Blackhart never fucking skated Winchester again.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah, it was fucked up. It was like, it wasn't worthy of fucking getting the boot for life. Maybe a week or, give him shit. But
I've never even heard of that. Like getting kicked out, for the day or something, but like for life.
Dude, they had a beef though. And I think the beef goes way back before Winchester because Wolfman actually used to skate. I skated this pool, the Piss Bowl, with him, me and Mike Fox. It was Alum Rock in San Jose, this shitty little pool. And that's the first time I saw Wolfman. And he was there with his little crew, like me, Sanchez or Rick Cedillo or something. And they were skating this pool. And we didn't even talk. Like, he was like this muscly fucking kind of gnarly dude. But I remembered him. But he could skate, Somehow they had a beef. Like, because Blackhart had his attitude and Wolfman was like, I ain't going to take shit from someone. And so they just clashed, And I think that was it. That, like, there was this animosity that built up. And then so he was just like, you're out. Blackhart wouldn't take shit from fucking Wolfman. And I don't think Wolfman liked that.
Who coined him Wolfman?
God, I don't know, man.
Was he Wolfman when you knew him?
Dan Peters.
Really?
That's his name, Dan Peterson, yeah. I didn't even know his name when I first saw him at the Piss Bowl. And then I got to know him at Winchester because he was managing Winchester with Dave Brady. And they ended up like leasing it from the owner. This guy Martinez was the original owner that had Winchester contracted and built. And those guys worked there and ran it. And then I don't know if they bought it from him or leased it, but Dan and Wolfman ended up owning Winchester till the end. I'd be sitting on the washboard and I'd take my helmet off just to scratch my head and he'd fucking screaming from across the park, Meekster, put your fucking helmet back on. I'm like, dude, fucking like 3 seconds. This is funny too, because I never really paid to skate Winchester. I'd always find a weasel route and I'd sneak in. I knew the fences were, this is a blind spot. You can jump here. And I remember one day I was on the washboard and I saw Wolfman come out from the pro shop and it was pretty far away. And we locked eyes and I was like, oh, fuck. He knows I didn't pay. And so I fucking scurry down the snake run. I go over here to the Clover Bowl and I'm like looking over the lip and shit. And he's coming around the washboard where I was. I'm all, oh, fuck, he's after me. And then fucking went down into the big 3/4 half pipe and I saw him up there and I'm fucking against the wall, and I'm fucking, he's looking into the half pipe, but he can't see me. It's like, fuck, I'm going to get 80. It's like 86 for life was the thing, right? And he walked away and I fucking went down the bottom of the big half pipe and came out the mogul bowl and I got out where he originally was standing when I was on the washboard. I had all my pads off and I was standing there and he was standing where I was standing on the washboard when he first saw me. And we locked eyes again and I could read his fucking lips. He's like, fuck. Like, and I pulled it off. Like, so shit like that would go down, like I always snuck into all the parks. Like I didn't have money. Like, no Petus. There was a killer blind spot. You could fucking jump every time. And that park was so huge. And all the really good runs were kind of far away from the pro shop that once you got in, you could just go hide, skate. That's the Blackhart story, dude.
I don't know. People would love to hear his stories.
And he's so animated. And it's like, he's going to tell you fucking what's up.
Yeah, I know.
And he gets in trouble. But it needs to be done, right? Like,
Yeah, I think, I mean, honestly, like without kissing ass, I think Blackhart's like the number one guy that I haven't had on that I would want to have on because, I mean, just like yourself, like he was our dude. And then all of a sudden people started paying attention and then more and more, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, and then when I started working at Thrasher, he was there. So he was working under Fausto.
Yeah, dude. Fucking, how about those two? Fucking classic.
Oh, so good.
He was a level above everyone, like in those early days, the pre-skate park days, like NorCal. He was definitely the guy, like no one was touching him.
Right.
He was fucking really fucking good too, though. He kind of doesn't get as much love as he should. Kiwi was fucking sick the whole time. Like the Blackhart had that fucking outgoing fucking personality.
He would let you know.
Whoa. You know, Kiwi is a little more, laid back and shit.
Right.
Kiwi was fucking sick.
True or false, Novak told you something to the extent of how does it feel to have surfing ruin your skate career?
Holy shit, that's dead on quote right there. You didn't miss a word. But dude, I love Novak. Like, he did say that, and I just, like, my response was like, dude, I wouldn't change a thing. Like, like, I was really involved in surfing. Like, I worked my way up all the lineups. Like, I was getting the set waves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no bullshit about that back then. You had to earn it. Like, there was no skipping in line. Older dudes that were fucking, people were getting soft and dunked, and grown men would be throwing rocks at you if you're fucking blowing it. Like, it was kind of gnarly. And I'm happy that I got to grow up in that era where you had to earn it. Like, I learned how to surf in like Capitola. That's a long way from fucking Pleasure Point as far as earning your way. And so, that happened. I lived on the point for years and surfed all that stuff. And then that kind of went away because of the neighborhood just, gentrified. It's all rich people now, and it's Pleasure Point's so crowded. But it used to be fucking, there was rules and unwritten rules that everyone went by. And every surf culture knows those rules, but the only way to learn them is to fucking break them and get yelled at or whatever, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
that shit deep. Like, you're not going to let someone else do it to you, but now it's a mess. Like, wherever you go, like all these spots, secret spots out of town and stuff, like they're just crowded and people pass around you. They don't know what's up and you can't really fight it,
That's the one thing about skateboarding that gets talked about a lot, I think, that's different from a lot of other things is skateboarding is our baseball, football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. And we have the ability to actually meet and skate with our heroes. Like Jay Adams is your hero, and then all of a sudden he's living with you. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. And you know what else is crazy? It's like, what other sport can you still go fucking do that sport? I'm not saying skateboard is a sport. I don't want to get into that thing.
Yeah.
Like, what other like sport can you can't go fucking hit balls with Babe Ruth, but you could go skate with TA.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's
how young skateboarding is,
Blood
Wizard. Blood Wizard. Blood Wizard. Blood Wizard. Shop.bloodwizard.com.
Tickety tack.
Hey, it's Corey at Blue Plate, 3218 Mission Street. Come see us. Meatloaf, fried chicken, deviled eggs, $1 Olympia beers. We're here every day of the week. We got a garden and we got smiles on our faces. Come let us make you happy.
What the fuck's this?
All right, fuckers, listen up. I'm going to remind you that we are giving away a complete skateboard, Keith Meek OG reissue, Indie Trucks, OJ wheels, the whole deal, for the first person who emails talkinschmit@gmail.com with an exact count of how many F-bombs Keith Meek dropped on this episode. So from the beginning, not me, only Keith's F-bombs. How many did he drop? Send it to talkinschmit@gmail.com. You're going to get a complete skateboard. You're also going to get some MEEKSTERBRAU gear, which is he's throwing in a hat, the Fall Risk t-shirt, and an OG t-shirt. I'll throw in a couple of the Talkin Schmit air fresheners and maybe some Thrasher stickers. If you haven't started counting, rewind, start from the beginning, and count all the F-bombs. Email them to talkinschmit@gmail.com. Wish you fucking luck, motherfucker.
What the fuck is that?
This is Mofo, and you're listening to Talkin Schmit.
Where was Jim Phillips at in his... I mean, this guy has obviously the iconic graphics for Santa Cruz through, Jason, Jesse, Grosso, all the guys, Kendall, you, Roscop. But is this kind of the beginning of his career, or was he already doing other things? Was he known already at this time, or did you guys kind of help build his thing?
he has a huge fucking portfolio. Like skateboarding was just part of his deal. Like he was really into the music a bit too, flyers and stuff for big bands. Like there's a new Jim Phillips documentary.
Oh,
and they showed it at the 50th anniversary.
I got to see it.
I don't know how to see it. Like I don't know. It's so good. It should be on Netflix or something. It's really good. It took 12 years to make.
Wow.
It really goes into his whole story, and it's incredible. Like Jim's a really, really good surfer. He
Oh, really?
surf anymore, but he's like one of the old school Santa Cruz guys that held shit down. Like I've seen him in the water. Like Jim's gnarly, man, and really good surfer. That's how I met Jimbo. I'd surf Sharks Cove, and Jim would be out there, and I knew Jim, and Jimbo was like 10 years old, and we'd all surf together, and it was sick. Like, but that's how that all came about. Like surfing. Then he did a lot of artwork for like the surf companies. Then the music industry, and then skateboarding is where that's how we got famous.
Was the Slasher one of his first graphics for Santa Cruz?
No, he did all the shit you see on Santa Cruz, all the shit, the original logo, everything.
Oh, like the red dot?
Like the red dot. That's all Jim Phillips. Like all
Did
that.
he do all the SOS too, or no?
He did everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was doing all that stuff since the beginning of NHS.
Okay.
Jim Byberg did a little bit. I think Jim Byberg did the first Santa Cruz like fiberglass design, just at Santa Cruz, and had like a shadowed effect, and then drew the slanted one.
Mm-hmm.
Since that point, I think Jim did everything up until he opened the art studio, and then he started hiring dudes. And I actually worked at the art studio for Phillips, which was insane. There's just a bunch of group of like skaters and surfers, and like there's like at one point there's probably like 7 artists in there, all Groms and just dudes. Like he would just like manage it, and then Byberg came in and helped manage it, and it was like we were cranking out so much stuff in the 80s, all that stuff.
Yeah, his graphics are so legendary.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of different like styles too. Like he can do some really like detailed killer stuff, and airbrush, and he's so talented.
Oh,
to watch him draw that stuff too, he can whip it out, dude.
Oh yeah,
fast. Like he's got that brain.
You said, you say Roscop lived with your mom?
Yeah, he rented a room for my mom. We lived together.
You got a good Roscop story?
3 different places or something. What's that?
You have a good Roscop story?
Fuck, so many, dude.
He's originally from Ohio, right?
Yeah, we were pretty hard on him. Like him coming to Santa Cruz straight from Ohio.
That's what I heard.
Rob's a really good guy, He's a hard worker, but we'd pick on him pretty good. But I remember, dude, I don't want to go into these. might bum him out. But yeah, let's leave it at that, bro.
Okay. Well,
when you turn off the record, I'll tell you some good stories.
I mean, was he like? Did he have the silver spoon for the mountain bike thing? Like that seemed like it was like. I don't know. Was he at the right place at the right time, or like
right place at the right time? And like he deserves it. Like he works hard. He's a hard worker, dude. Like without Rob, that thing wouldn't have gone.
Oh,
I mean, like that's Rob's fucking soul in that company. Like that's like KT's Thrasher. Rob is fucking Santa Cruz Bikes, and I actually worked at Santa Cruz Bikes doing all the artwork and branding for like 10 years. Like the first 10 years was all my stuff.
Oh, rad.
Yeah, so me and Rob working together was sick, dude. Like, it was the bike industry, or we brought the skate vibe into the bike industry. Like, no one was doing the shit we were doing in the beginning. And now it's just everyone's doing the same shit as everyone,
Yeah, that's I got a Santa Cruz bike, though. I love that thing.
Dude, they're so good. Yeah.
That's super good. What about Hunter's Point, Day of Hell, the contest up at the Dish?
Oh, shit. I was there. Is that what they called it?
Yeah.
Got chased out?
Yeah.
And it was gnarly.
Yeah, talk about that day.
That
Me and Arco were just going through photos, and there's this fucking sick one. I'll send it to you. Like, it's all these dudes. You're in it, and like Ipe and Ray Meyer, and like all these people.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I want to check that out for sure. Yeah, I remember like hanging out in the parking lot, and I saw all the brothers coming out of their apartments. Like, and I'm all, it didn't look right, dude. like these guys are on a mission kind of, and I think it was BK or Tommy or Tony or someone was like, we got to go. And I'm like, whoa, these dudes that are born and raised in the city are fucking telling us we got to go. We got to fucking go. Right. And they put up with us the whole day. And I think they just got sick of it, you know? And so they came out and like, they're fucking making us leave. I got out of there pretty quick. I didn't like see what went down, but everyone scattered. The whole contest kind of just fucking bailed out of there. Oh, shit was going to go down, you know? Yeah.
The mag's like maybe 8 or 10 blocks from there. That neighborhood has been, you know, did you ever go to the vert ramp down the street too?
Dude, that ramp was great. That was a good ramp.
Yeah. I think it was Sharugi's ramp originally or something.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
That's what someone told me. And then Pierre lived there for a minute, and
it was gnarly though. If you lost your board, fuck, I lost my board and I was gone for like 20 minutes. I missed the session. Like it went down into the park.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember? Did you ever skate it?
Yeah, for sure. And then they cut it down to a mini ramp.
It's like 12 feet down.
Yeah,
and like your board, you had to climb down the fence and fucking go get your board.
We were just scared to go there, and we felt like once we were in there, we were good. But like just getting there was kind of gnarly.
It's so gnarly. They're always in a car, like so. And I was always with like city guys, you know, CBS crew, and so I always felt pretty safe because they always had their eyes open. They knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, bringing up Shrugi's name, another like how we were talking about Los Olvidados and Drunk Engines and how all that flowed. Another deal like that was ALA Revenge and Free Beer. All those bands intertwined.
Oh,
like so, like
was that Tony Guerrero?
Kids, right? Where Tommy sang.
Yeah, and
then there was Revenge. Well, there was ALA, which was Anti-Los Angeles.
What? I don't even know that one. Sick.
Shrugi sang for that band, and then it was Penzo and this guy Gordon, and then fucking Steve Tatum played drums. Okay, so then there was Revenge, and that was when Revenge started. Shrugi left LA and sang for Revenge, and it was Tony on drums, Tommy on bass, Dan McGee, and Jimmy on guitar. Okay, and then that was Revenge, and then when that all crumbled down, and then our friend Moke started singing for ALA. He hung out. Do you know Butch from the East Bay? He passed away.
No.
Pretty punk days. But they grew up together. Then Free Beer is like Tommy's on bass still. Tony moves from drums to guitar. And then Steve Tatum from ALA is playing drums. And then this guy Mike Cassidy comes in. So all three of those bands kind of influenced and kind of intertwined.
That's rad. I never heard about ALA.
That was our, what's that?
I never heard ALA.
Oh yeah, they're classic, dude.
Shrugi was in that one or no?
Shrugi was the original singer of ALA.
Oh, dude, I gotta talk to him about that.
And then our friend Moke started singing. And so like when we'd go to the city, we were just fucking hanging. We were like the ALA Revenge fucking crew, you know what I mean? Like always together, fucking causing trouble and stuff. And we had a cool thing going, like if we weren't San Francisco, we were in Santa Cruz or we were in the East Bay. We had this fucking, because Moke and Butch and all those guys were from the East Bay, and Tommy and Tony and Bryce and everyone was, you know, San Francisco and then Santa Cruz. And I even had like parties like my 19th birthday, 1981, like ALA Revenge and Crucifix played in my friend's little studio. You know, like it was all like, we were all hanging out tight. Like, so when you'd go to a show, it's like, dude, you knew everyone and there's just all those bands, you know, like.
Were there recordings of any of them?
Revenge has a recording from the Mab that Tony says he's trying to get remastered and stuff, but it's like 1980.
Wow.
Like 81 maybe. It was like, I remember the night I was there, it was like on a Wednesday night. And it might have been the night that 7 Seconds played their first time at the Mab too. But I'm not sure about that. Like, but it was like a Wednesday night and it was like barely anyone there, and the dude mixing it recorded it.
Yeah.
So like a lot of shit talking. Like,
wow, that would be amazing to hear that. Like if he could get it remastered.
He's just going off on the mic, and Tony and Tom throwing shit in, fucking just, you know, full of sarcasm.
Like for me, it's pretty easy to say Bad Brains, but for you, what was a band that you saw for the first time that just like your mouth dropped, blew your mind, kind of like, whoa, this is special?
Black Flag.
Black Flag.
Yeah, with Dez singing. I mean, those dudes, there was fucking not much like that, even in that scene. Dude, like you'd go to a show, and they're all small venues, like the Mab and stuff, and, you know, Chuck would just be up there boom, boom, building up this fucking energy, and like everyone's like not moving, but they know what's coming. You know what I mean? But everyone's just waiting. Like it's up to Chuck. Like, and then they just just fucking bust into something, and it's just fucking gnarly. And
like, was Dez's stage presence like? What was it like? Was he running around going crazy, or
all over the place? Like that's my favorite Black Flag is when Dez was singing. Fuck, I saw him like 3 times in 1 week or something.
Wow.
Like they played at the warehouse in Santa Cruz. Then they spent the night at my friend's house. So we got to know them and Mugger and everything, and Mitzi, the manager. And then the next night they play at 10th Street Hall, and we go up there and they're all getting us in. So we're getting to know them. And then I went up to Grass Valley with all the Blast dudes. But this is before Blast. And we drove to Reno from Grass Valley to go see them in Reno. And they played in a garage with kegs. I got to sing for Nig Heist because Mugger's all, you're singing, because getting to know him, and crazy shit went down that night. Like I graffitied the inside of this guy's house, and I was sitting in the kitchen with Black Flag, and the guy saw me. I was writing Black Flag on the kitchen wall, and Ro was trying to tell me how to spell it in Spanish and shit. And fucking the owner comes in, he's all, you're the motherfucker. I just painted my whole house. And I'm like, oh dude, this guy's gonna kill me. And Chuck and Mugger and all those guys are all, you ain't touching him. They're like sticking up for me and shit, and crazy shit. One-on-one fucking guitar lessons with Greg Ginn with his fucking Armstrong, and like in the
sick. Greg Ginn's like, whoo, legend.
Yeah. Like I don't know if those dudes even would remember me, but there was like this little fucking heated moment. Like we are going fucking all the shows, and, you know, like it was fun. Santa Cruz was having good shows back then.
Dude, I got a crazy one. I was at last year I was at a Giants game with my wife, and this dude behind me taps on my shoulder and he's like, hey, where'd you get that Thrasher hat? And I was like, I worked there. And he's like, oh, then you must know my good friend. And I was like, who's your good friend? He's like, Kevin Thatcher. And I was like, yeah, like that guy was one of my biggest inspirations. Like, and he ended up being in that band that was on the first Skate Rock. The kids don't skate here no more. The kids don't. I can't remember the name of the band, but fuck.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was insane. I was like, I'm at a Giants game, like 40,000 people, and this guy just happens to be sitting behind me.
That's how
crazy.
it always works, right? Yeah.
Dude, for real. What did you guys think when they put the sidewalks in at Derby?
Oh man, like I didn't like it because you used to be able to grind the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they put the sidewalks in, and you know, it did good, and then it did bad. Like, you know, people don't like change, you know, but it used to be pretty sick when you'd go to Derby and the fucking train would be going, you know, like, and there's nowhere else to go.
And you could tell who the locals were.
Guys going down the snake run, and they're coming around the bowl, and the first dude has to come over that hip to come up the top before the last guy gets to the bottom because there's nowhere to go, right? That I miss that. But the last revision they did was pretty good. Like, put the sidewalks in, and then they did a newer revision.
I heard that there's a petition to like add a whole like new park in that park.
Kind of involved with that.
Oh,
like we're gonna like.
Is it gonna happen?
Yeah, I just got an email from Jason Strubing yesterday. It looks like there's some meetings set up. Like there's progress.
Rad. Yeah, I talked to. That's who told me, Jason.
Yeah, and so it's gonna be like where the sand pit was of the volleyball. That whole thing is going to be skatable. Like we're trying to put a pool in the middle and then skatable stuff around it. So that will connect with the original derby, so the flow will increase, and then you'll have this like centered pool coping. But there's limits. Like the pool can only be 7 feet deep because of drainage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's plans in the work, and
that's awesome.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Derby is probably isn't it one of the oldest parks around at this stage?
I don't know actually what year it was built, because you get different people saying different things. And my friend,
I always heard like 76 to 79 in that window.
Yeah. And my friend Lance Ripley, who's a really insane pool skater, went to Natural Bridges. And so he was telling me, they were building that when I was in elementary school.
Oh.
I want to call him and get the dead set year that was built, because then they could go there at recess and skate and stuff. But I didn't skate it till like 1980. I didn't even know it existed, But then when we found it, we were all over it. Like, we shot some cool photos for the Jammer there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The Jammer versus the Slasher. Like the Jammer was such a huge thing. That was when I first started skating. It was the Street Jammer. Like that was the board.
Was it the original one with the rocker?
I don't know. Did they have different graphics? Because this one was just a Jammer with black crosses. Like,
it was like a cyclone fence.
Yeah.
Before that, they just said Jammer. And then they did the cyclone fence. Then they started putting them on like flat decks with a kicktail, but originally they were rocker, like 5-ply, like that were originally the blanks for fucking Hout Lamaflex boards.
No way.
Yeah, I remember I was with Tim Piamarta running errands, and we pull up into this, I think we're in Scotts Valley at this storage locker, and Bob Skinner's there. And Bob Skinner used to run the Hout team and stuff. And he opens up the thing, and it's just stacked with all these uncut blanks, like square rocker blanks. And those were the original Jammers.
Wow.
Dude, I put all those together.
Really?
Fucking dude. I put the fucking wheels and the bearings in the wheels and assemble all by myself. Those first Jammers. That was my job at NHS. Assembly.
Was the dad? The guy that owned Go Skate?
Dale
Smith. That was the skate shop where I got my board, was Go Skate in San Mateo. And then I ended up working there. But there was a place up the street called the Spillway. I don't know if you ever skated that.
Oh, I've heard of it. I didn't skate it.
Okay, yeah. But I did hear that you win a contest or win some money or something, and then just went straight to throw a keg rager or something like that? Capitola?
Yeah, in the Capitola Classic, I did good both those years. I got like 7th place. And like Tommy won one year, he got $1,000, 7th place, paid like 50. So I just fucking threw down, had a keg. But we bought kegs all the time. Like I had my own keg and my own taps. So like if someone's going to have a party, they call you, we need your tap and keg. So then you're in, like, you like deposit, whatnot.
What was that Capitola contest like? Did skateboarding take over the whole city?
It was insane. Well, it
must have been.
Dude, I'll send you some photos. Like I have some photos my mom took, and both sides of the road are just fucking like 4 people deep or 2 people deep, people on the house roofs and shit, and just crazy. And so they did it during the Begonia Festival, which they do every year. Capitola does a Begonia Festival. So there's already tons of tourists there. And so someone said something like they estimated during the day there's probably about 10,000 people.
Wow.
That's not just the skate contest, but
yeah,
I think that's why it got shut down, because after the second year, the cops were like, no more, man. Like they couldn't control it if something went down. But those contests were fun, dude, because it was on a downhill slope. And
I
it was
know.
style, so you didn't even have to push.
Yeah.
Like, hitting shit with a jump ramp at the bottom, you know?
Was that the first time you saw Gons in person?
No, first time I saw Gons was this contest in San Diego, Escondido or something. And I was down there and I turned pro at that contest just so I could make photo incentive. Back then, like, there's all these rules. Like, you had to be a pro or you couldn't collect money from photos, or sponsors didn't have to pay you money. And I was getting a bunch of coverage, but I wasn't pro. And I had stickers on my board and stuff, so those people would have been paying me if I was pro. So I entered this contest just so I could get photo incentive. The contest was ridiculous. It was the worst contest I've ever seen in my life. But that's where I saw Gons, and he was coming out like, I think that might have been where he got that cover shot doing the boneless, all boned out off the picnic table.
Mm-hmm.
That was the contest. But there wasn't nothing to skate. It was like a curb, a picnic table. It was, dude, I was so hungover too. Everyone's all, yeah, you smell like alcohol.
Yeah.
Debut. But yeah, Gons, you know, we were at a trade show, and I think the first time I ever saw someone do a rail, it was Gons at this trade show, and he's just skating around. He's like hitting these like 5-stair, 6-stair rails. And it's just like, I'd never seen anything like it, you know, and we were in the middle of skating. Like, we saw everything. I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? And then more and more dudes were coming out, like, and we dragged them over to this like 20-stair, 15-stair, huge fucking staircase, and I'll do this one. And I think fucking Grant was there, or fucking Ivan Asoy, but there was like 15 dudes, pros, up and down the fucking staircase, egging them on. Come on! And he'd skate up, and he'd stop, and he'd just be like, dude, you guys are gonna kill me. And it took him like 15 minutes, and he fucking, first try, dude, he fucking nailed it and just fucking stuck it, and was just, everyone just lit up. Like, it was the most amazing thing I'd seen in years. Like, just groundbreaking. I'm like, I was like, fuck, I'm so done. Like, I gotta go get a job or something. This is shit.
What a special time. That guy's just, he's forever, like, that moment of him bringing whatever he brought to skateboarding was just like, hey, you're just never going to happen again like that.
Right. I mean, I remember like skating mini ramps with him and stuff, and he wasn't even that good on the mini ramp. But then all of a sudden he's doing eggplants on vert. You know, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and making him look like a frontside invert. Like, he's kind of
so good,
so
dude.
sick.
So, like doing street plants on vert or something.
Yeah.
Know? Another good thing I witnessed was the Caballero thing when he came up.
Oh yeah,
because
Winchester's kind of his spot, right?
Yeah, because I remember this one summer, me and Jim Martino, we just burned one or something. We're sitting on the bricks and kicking back, and this little kid goes down the fucking Clover Bowl, like, you know, pushing off his knees style. And then we're all, fuck, look at this little dude. Like, it's just fucking looked all gnarly, you know? And he rolls out, and he rolled back in. And we're all, whoa, that guy just did a fucking roll out and a roll in. Like, it was rounded and not vert, but it was like, it surprised us. We're all, no way. And I'm all, see that? Jim's all, yeah, dude. And we're all stoked, yelling shit. And then Jim's like, he's all, yeah, dude, he looks like my friend Art that snorts glue. And so we're laughing. We're all, what? And so we start yelling. We're all, fucking, what's up, little glue man? Fucking. So that was like, that's Cab's first nickname was Little Glue Man. I tried pot. It didn't stick, but I still call him that sometimes, and we laugh about it, you know. But he wasn't really that good, but he was like this rad kid, and you couldn't help but love him. Like, he was fucking smiling, just stoked was just emanating, right? From like the first time I saw him, within a year and a half, he was like one of the best skateboarders in the world.
Fuck.
In a year and a half, dude. Like,
Yeah.
watch that progress that fast was pretty amazing. He could do all these tricks, but not in the keyhole. It was kind of like, dude, you don't even do that trick if you can't do it in the keyhole. I'm not going to say you know how to do that. You have to do it. And once he started riding the keyhole, it was just over.
He was one of those ones.
Yeah. I mean, he's got more covers than anybody for Thrasher.
How many
Yeah,
covers?
I think he has 9. Dude, the stuff that they did back in the day was insane. Like, there's so many covers we look at, they were like, they were just like a deadline and had nothing and just pulled one out of there.
So epic, though. Like, dude, Thrasher was so raw. It was such a breath of fresh air, dude, after like skateboarder and stuff.
I just love, like, Mofo's stories are so good. Like, he just talks about how, I mean, he's humble to also, because I know that it's not true, but he would just be like, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I was doing. And they told me to read this book and they told me to use this camera and I just went out and did it. And I'm like, but you had a little skill. Like, there's some sick shit.
It's like, yeah, in the DNA or something. Yeah.
Yeah, because like the Jeff Phillips boneless cover, there's a clown ramp all blurred. That's one of my favorite photos ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Mofo took some insane photos. He was always around too. He's part of that whole crew that, like, God, like fucking Robert Schlafly and the Buck Brothers, Blackhart, KT, Tim Lockfeld, Fly. Like, those are the dudes that, like, I love skating with all those guys because it was just, you know, they're older and fucking just fun. It was like, yeah, I want to be like these guys.
I just got a couple more. I'm winding down here, but Raging Waters comes out. Did you like the ramp or the water slides?
I like the pool.
The pool.
Yeah, we rode the pool twice. 2 years in a row, they drained the deep pool where the slides that go straight down and fly off.
Yeah.
Deep pool, we got to skate it 2 years in a row. The pool was gnarly. Like, it was big and it was deep, but it had like this crazy, like, 8-inch meatloaf coping that you couldn't get on it. It was stuck out so far, you know. But there was a big love seat you could grind. And then there's like, you could go over these lights and stuff, and you could go up on the rocks in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to push from the flat bottom, build up your speed. But it was fun, you know. Yeah, it's like kind of novelty.
I always ask this question, and I know it's not easy answer, so it's kind of more like what the first thing that comes to your mind is, more so than the best. Like, what was something you were there for that you saw someone do on a skateboard that was very impressive or unique? Or
probably that first time I saw Blackhart at Bombora, because that was just like, you know, I never saw that. Like, you know, like just pictures in magazines, you know.
He was kind of a myth up till then.
Yeah, he was a ghost, dude. You'd show up at the pool. You just missed Blackhart. Oh, yeah, go to the spot. Did you see Blackhart skate? No. And just finally, I got to see him. It was like surreal. There he is. Is that really, you know, fucking bigger than life, you know? But that and the Gonzo fucking 15-20 stair, whatever it was, that was like, that blew my mind.
Right. Okay, cool. What's the best band you've ever seen for free at the boardwalk?
Shit. I don't ever go down there.
The correct answer is Eddie Money.
Oh, shit. No, dude, we used to make fun of that shit. Like, oh, fuck.
Actually, Dinosaur Jr. just played there for the Santa Cruz party.
Yeah, I had to go to a wedding down in like Paso Robles, so I missed that whole weekend. But I would have checked that out. Oh wait, fucking, who used to play there every year? Fucking Blue Oyster Cult.
When you bring it, you gotta sing it.
Yeah, I avoid the boardwalk, so I don't really go down there.
Salva says he has to do push-ups to keep his core. Like, is there anything that you do, supplement, stretches, anything that, like, as you get older, you need to put in your routine to help you be able to skate longer?
You know, honestly, I just get hurt and heal.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been a stretcher, but I've always been like, I got to start stretching. I got to exercise more. But I'm one of those guys that I just go and I get hurt.
You down for CBD or arnica or any of these?
Yeah, CBD.
It helps.
Yeah. But just like what I've learned most of all is just patience. Like when I get hurt, I don't skate with multiple injuries. If I get hurt, I don't skate until I'm healed. You know, and I'll be 62 in April.
Damn.
And I still feel really good, you know? So like I have problems. I've had fucking lifetime of injuries. Like even before I started skating, I'm just one of those dudes that just gets beatings. I've taken out 2 windshields with my face, you know, apart. It's like one going 65 miles an hour, no seatbelt. Like just, I've been like, dude, it's like when I was in 3rd grade, I used to like, for fun, we'd go find construction sites, and jump out the 2nd story windows and shit like that. Like, you know, the sand piles that one's pretty far, you know, like, so always like, it's always been hurt. So I don't really know, like, I'm not a good person to answer that question.
I got really bad arthritis, and it's been like this this winter's been the worst. Like I'm in pain a lot, and I'm just like, ugh. I was talking to the doctor, and I was like, anything? She's like, no.
Like, where's your arthritis?
Like all through my shoulders and neck and into my back.
Dude, maybe have you tried CBD and stuff?
I have not. I don't know how long I have to try it, but I've tried it for like a week, and it didn't seem like it was doing anything.
There's got to be like a lot of that stuff too. Maybe
I heard acupuncture. Maybe
like change your diet. Maybe like hydrate. I mean, I get arthritis in my knuckles sometimes, and like I get gout.
Oh,
dude, gout's gnarly.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been battling that for 20 years or something.
Can you still do an invert?
Dude, I haven't tried an invert, and last time I did an invert was probably fucking 1989 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I like in my mind, I want to do invert. I want to fucking do an invert, but my skating, I went through the wind down, you know, like you're slowly losing your tricks, and now I'm just kind of surfing stuff.
Okay.
I don't really like to ride half pipes anymore because I don't have a bag of tricks anymore. So I like to like carve and grind, do laybacks and that kind of style, like surf stuff. So bowls and like that kind of stuff. I'm really down.
Okay.
My friends just built a bowl too, so I'm stoked.
Oh, really?
Gotta go down there and get some. I have a whole scene. There's a whole new punk scene in Santa Cruz that's fucking on fire.
Really?
Reminds me of when we were doing it. I haven't seen anything since 1980. 40 years I haven't seen it. So like I went to the show at the Catalyst, and there's 3 bands playing, and all 3 bands, I knew one of the parents.
No way.
I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And dude, it was insane. It was fucking rad. And all their friends are there. So they have this whole they're all teens, dude. Like they're all teenagers and shit. They're just fucking going nuts.
Wow.
Like, yeah. Three fucking rad bands. Curb Creeps, Intrusive, and Slam. So like listen for those bands. Like I was just blown away.
Rad.
Like, I've been going to shows since the 70s, and I was just like, whoa. Like I felt out of place, dude. I was like, I had my camera, I was shooting photos. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna get hurt, man. You guys are going nuts.
Sick.
So that's cool. And those guys are part of that. There's this skate, surf, punk rock thing coming again.
Well, check this out. I got a little Curb Creeps right here with their song Get Out of My Way. If you could go skate anywhere today, where would you go?
Anywhere?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's a fucking rad question. Like I can go back in time and stuff?
Sure.
Yeah, why not? That's my question, right? I'd like to go skate that Gilroy backyard pool again. Still to this day, it's one of the best things I've ever skated.
Oh, that's sick. Okay. Well, dude, thank you so much for taking the time. It's rad to hear your stories and stuff. Hype that we got to do this.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much more too. Like maybe we could talk again.
Absolutely. Anytime.
And thanks, dude. I'm honored to be on your show. And like, I love your show. Like,
oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Got this cool vibe, dude. You ask good questions. It's rad. You know what's going on. You know, like I've listened to the podcast and people are like, oh, what's the Capitola Classic?
Yeah.
And that's like one of the biggest fucking contests that ever went down in skateboard history. But anyway.
Well, working at the mag, I got to try to pay attention, you know?
Oh, yeah. I always forget about the mag. Yeah. And you're still there.
Yeah. Did you have any encounters with Jake?
Not in a long, like, I didn't see him very often, but yeah, I skated that Fremont pool with him.
Huh.
Lit session, dude. Fuck, dude. Cardiel, Wade Spire, Curtis.
Oh, the one that Christian had the nose grind over the hip?
I don't know.
It was like
weird square kidney Fremont Inn.
Yeah. That pool was good.
Yeah. So we had a fucking sick skate there.
Rad.
Like, I think Bryce was there. Bryce got some good photos.
Okay. Fuck yeah.
It was like, I think that was the last photo I ever got in a mag.
Oh.
It's like this big in the back, you know, fucking hidden somewhere. There it is.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, fucking thanks, Schmitty.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Talkin Schmit. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. When you subscribe, you'll get notifications every Tuesday of new episodes the minute they become available. Also, please leave reviews and a 5-star rating. It's the best way to help the show grow. All of the episodes will always remain free, but if you would like to help support the show, you can do so at talkinschmit.com, where you can pick up some merchandise like t-shirts, beanies, hats, and stickers. The website has an entire archive of all of the episodes, with extra photos and videos. Email us with any suggestions, comments, or ways that the show may have improved your life at talkinschmit@gmail.com. All interviews are conducted, edited, and produced by Schmitty. The intro music is Mary's Cross by the band Nature. A very special shout out goes to the executive director, Cheryl Camisa.
Shout out.
Love it! This is Talkin Schmit, where the Rolodex is deep, but the conversation is deeper.
Keep the wheels greased.